Well, what's going on, guys? I did a thing. I got a new car. Psych, I'm just kidding. This is my friend's Toyota GR86 on some coils and some Workmeisters. Got an aero kit going on. But today we're gonna be working on this thing. The last time I made a video on how to install airbags on your car, it went crazy. Y'all love seeing that tutorial. So today we're gonna do an updated version on how to install air suspension on any car, specifically this GR86. And she decided to go with the new Bag Riders super low air struts. These just came out and apparently these let you ride low with your air struts. And she's using airlift management as well as airlift tank, basically airlift and Bag Rider combo. And today I'm gonna show you guys how to install it onto this car. Let's give her a little startup for y'all. Ooh, little IRP shifter too. This thing feels amazing. I definitely need one for my FRS. Before we get started onto that, let's open up all these boxes and I'll lay out everything and I'll basically show you guys everything you're gonna need from start to finish in order to bag your car. It might change from vehicle to vehicle, but it's pretty much the same concept. You got your struts. This is basically the suspension your car is gonna be riding on. Air goes in here, it makes it go lower or higher. And then we have our compressor. People usually run 1 or 2. We have our air tank, and we have our management. Airlift is the most popular management. It comes with this little handy dandy controller, which I'll show you guys later on. But of course, we're gonna need some air fittings to go with the entire kit, our wiring harness, and some air lines. And that's pretty much all you need to bag your car. First thing we're gonna do is go ahead and put this car on jack stands. Thankfully for me, I have these quick jacks, which we slide under the car, and then it just lifts the car up. Man, I hate low cars. Y'all just saw that. I tried getting this thing on wood blocks. I tossed it some ramps and it still would not work. One, because these tires are probably pumped to fucking Narnia and back with PSI. And my floors aren't exactly the stickiest. It's pretty smooth, so the ramps and wood just wants to slide everywhere. We're gonna have to improvise with something. I can't fit a lower jack under there either. Man, this thing is gonna be a struggle. All right, let's go ahead and take the front and the back wheels off, and then we can get to taking off the stock suspension. All right, wheels are off. It's time to get cracking. Let's go and take off the stock suspension. On these cars, it's pretty simple. It's just 2 bolts right here for the front ones, and then 3 bolts up top. And for the rear ones, it's just 2 bolts up top on the trunk and then 3 bolts on the lower control arms, and it just pops right out. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, we got both left and right front suspension out. Now it's time to work on the rears. Finally! I'm over here hard at work while these fools are freaking sleeping. Look at Kirby, just chilling. And under this pile of blankets and clothes and stuff is Cheryl. She's KO too. I just finished taking off the stock struts. Check it out. I got the stock struts all out now. Now what my friend did request me to do is switch out the top hats on her old coils, which are these. These allow for a lot more camber because the slot up here is a lot bigger than the Bag Riders one. Here's the Bag Riders. Look at the difference. So this this would get you around, like, I want to say 4 degrees of camber, 4 or 5, and this should get you up to 8 just with the extra inch or so of slotting. I went ahead and swapped the top hats on this strut already, so I'm gonna take the other strut that still needs to be swapped and show you guys how to do it. It's super simple. It's just the 4 bolts up top. You just need to remove and then swap the top hats. Boys, now that we got the top hats on, let's go ahead and move on to the next step, which is routing the leader lines for these struts. Now if you look on the struts, there's a threaded hole right there. That's where your leader line's gonna go in. That's where air is gonna get pumped into the struts, and it looks something like this. They're braided metal hoses with male fittings on each end. So you're gonna take the smaller one, insert that into the strut, and then insert the other end with this easy connect fitting right here. And make sure you always use Teflon tape or Loctite so that it doesn't leak air anywhere. Alright boys, struts are all good to go. Let's go ahead and get the car ready for the struts to go in. Now when you install air suspension, you have to be really careful. Anything that rubs on the bags can damage it and even put a hole in it, and that's a big no-no. So before you mount the struts, check inside the strut tower. See if there's anything poking out, and you're gonna wanna shave every single little bit. On these cars, the passenger side doesn't have it, but on the driver's side, there's a bunch of bolts sticking out that you're gonna need to grind off. Like there's one right there, one right there, right there, and right there. So bust out a little grinder or Dremel or something and grind that flush. And there we have the finished product. Now we don't have to risk any of the studs poking through the bags and potentially exploding when she's driving or even airing out. So we're good to go. Let's go ahead and slap in the struts. Got it? Oh, got it. Thank you, babe. It kind of sucks that she's using these top plates because now it doesn't say bag grinders. Here's a little trick. Instead of manhandling the knuckle to get it onto the strut, just use a jack. And then you can just position it. There you go. There we go. Alright boys, we got both sides front suspension all installed. Now it's time to work on the rears. These are gonna be a little bit trickier because I really hate how the suspension's really set up. But I'm gonna try to squeeze this strut into this lower control arm and up this strut hole tower thingy without removing the hub. Because once you take off the hub, it's gonna be insanely hard to put back the end links, the strut, and the hub and get it all aligned. So let's see if this is possible. Oh, easy. So using my lovely assistant here, I'm gonna push that strut up while she tightens down the studs in the trunk because I can't wrap my arm around the whole car. So, babe, when I push the strut up, there's gonna be metal things sticking up right here. Just put these nuts on both of them. Look at that, teamwork. Ow. We're making real good progress. We got both the rears in, and I went ahead and routed the leader line up and through the trunk, and it's gonna stick out right there. That's where we're gonna attach our air line to connect to the struts. Oh, perfect. Plenty of room. Oh, dude, it's like it was made for this. Oh my God, it fits like a glove. Look at that. All right, boys, now that we got the trunk setup all figured out, let's go ahead and mount the fittings onto the tank. Now, this is a 4-gallon tank from Airlift. You can either get a 4-gallon or a 5-gallon. With this 4-gallon, there's only 5 bungs on it. There's 2 on each side and 1 on the bottom. Now, we're only gonna need to use 3, 1 to drain it, 1 to fill it from the compressor, and 1 to route to the manifold. And then the rest we could block off. And shout out to Airlift. They gave us all the fittings that we could need. There we go, we got all the fittings on the air tank. Here's the water trap mounted directly to the tank. This is gonna go straight to the manifold. I don't need this hole, so I got it blocked off. And on the bottom, we have this little air line running, so you can drain the air right here. And then this fitting, so let's say your air compressor goes out and you need to fill up your tank, you can fill it up through here. And then on this side, this will connect to the compressor, and I blocked off this port. So tank is good to go. Let's go ahead and mount this thing onto the trunk mat. Check it out, we got the tank all mounted. Now, she wanted to use this all-weather, all-purpose, whatever you want to call it, trunk mat, so I drilled through both of them. Got it all hard mounted, and the compressor is on there. It's gonna be tight right there. I put a hole through the foam and stuck it right there, so then we could connect it to the tank. And then the manifold is gonna sit right here, and the air lines are gonna feed through the holes that I poked through in the foam over there. So it's time to start running our air lines and our wiring harness and everything. This is gonna be the most tedious part because you have to try to make everything look seamless. So I went ahead and took off this panel right here so we have access to the inner layer of the carpet, so we can tuck the wiring harness through there and up towards the engine bay. And I also had to remove the back seat to remove this panel, and we're gonna tuck the wiring harness down through here also. So this is our manifold. We have front left, front right, left, rear right, tank, and then this is just to dump the pressure when you air out. We're gonna start out by connecting the rear, since we can just mount them easily right there and right there. And shout out Airlift. They gave us this whole roll of lines. Hopefully this is enough. Should be. And do not cut these airlines with scissors or anything. You want to use the airline cutter it comes with. This is how you do it. You just place it in the pocket right there, and then you squeeze and it cuts. Okay, we'll start out with rear left. Plug it in. Okay, let's see how long we need this to be. So it needs to go over there and around. So about that much should be good. Snip. I'm gonna feed it through the hole that I poked. And this is pretty easy, it just plugs in. Okay, there we go. We gotta route these up to the front left and the front right, as well as the management. So the bad thing about that is you can't guesstimate how long it is, like these, because this is super short. You have to basically feed it through the entire thing and cut more than you think, and then hopefully it reaches. So let's do that. All right, here's the line for the front left. So it has to be long enough to get tucked to there, under here, through the engine bay, and to the left side. Okay, look at that. Cheryl and I just finished routing all the wires and air lines. It looks seamless. You can't even tell that was there.
You did that.
Yeah, we did. And then I went ahead and connected it to the front leader lines. Got the passenger side and the driver's side. Routed the wires back here through the firewall, and it looks pretty freaking clean if you ask me. Now that we have everything routed up, let's go ahead and wire this airlift management up. This may be different if you're running a different management system, but if you are running airlift, I got you. I'm gonna show you guys how to do it step by step. Okay, we're gonna start out with wiring up the compressor. Pretty easy, just a black and a red wire, and then off of the main harness, there's a black and a red wire. Using the butt connectors they give you, just connect the black to the black and the red to the red. Use your wire strippers, strip both ends, like that. There we go. And then you take your yellow. Remember, it's important. Use the right color. Take your yellow one, slide it on, slide on the other end. You take your crimper and you crimp. Okay, there we go. Make sure it's nice and tight. Splice. Splice. Just like that, we got our compressor wired up. Let's hook this thing up to the battery and get the power and ground wired up. Okay, so in the front, there's 3 wires. You got a pink wire, which is the ignition. You put this into your fuse box, and when the car turns off, this is what makes the airlift controller turn on. And then you have your red wire, positive, black wire, negative. So on the black wire, you could just put a ring terminal on and then connect it to your battery. But on the red wire, we're gonna attach this thing. We're gonna add a fuse to this. So if you open this, you can plug in a fuse. Simply cut this side, connect it to this, and on the other side, you're gonna connect it to a ring terminal. It's always the 30 amp fuse. This is way easier. You just put on a ring terminal. No need for an added fuse or anything. This is the most satisfying part. I love doing this. All right, there we go. Now we take this end and we connect it to the negative terminal, and this end connected to the positive terminal. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to wire in the last wire, this pink wire right here. Okay, now we take our little add-on fuse. So it has 2 spaces, one for the stock fuse that you're gonna tap into, and then the additional fuse that they give you. Now the fuse I'm gonna use for this is this fuse right here, the 7.5. This is labeled IG2, which is an ignition fuse. And hopefully this works, but from what I researched, that fuse turns on when the car's on and it turns off when the car's off. So we won't have any power draw issues. Let's try this one. Okay, there we go. We officially got the airlift system all wired up now. Last thing we need to do is put that trunk setup into the trunk and hook up the air lines from the compressor to the tank and the tank to the management. So most people, they connect their compressor right to the tank, but since this is hidden under, I won't have the line for that. So I put on that fitting, which allows me to add a normal air line to it, like so, and connect it to the air tank. Pretty neat. Sweet. We forgot about the last thing. Guys, the most important thing. What's in here, babe?
The remote.
The fresh new airlift controller.
It looks similar to yours.
It's the exact same.
Oh.
Look at that. Mmm.
Oh, you have the same thing then?
Yeah. Same system.
No, don't.
What? There's still this plastic layer. I'll let her take that.
No, do you guys see all the shit that he throws on the ground for me to pick up?
We clean later.
I clean later.
We finish install now.
I clean later.
Shout out to my girlfriend. Okay, you just plug it in. Shout out to Androids, this is the same type of charger. So Desi doesn't know where she wants to put the controller yet. So she told me to just leave it free floating, which is why I left this wire right here. But you just plug it in like a USB. And then when we turn on the car, if the controller turns on, then we installed everything right. If it doesn't turn on, then we fucked up. So let's turn it on. How much you wanna bet this car is pretty loud? And it's 9:30 at night right now, so my neighbors are definitely gonna kill me. Let's see if this turns on first. See? Wait, let's wait to see if the compressor went on. There we go. Oh, it's not that loud. Okay, that's nice. All right, the tank has now filled up. Now what you want to do to check for leaks is you want to grab a spray bottle, put some water in there, and then a little bit of dish soap, and then spray every single area that is connected to a fitting and see if it bubbles up. If it bubbles, then that means you got a leak there. No bubbles, this side is good. All right boys, the car has 0 leaks, so that's a good sign. I also went ahead and filled up the bags to the max and filled up the tank to the max, and there's no pressure dropping either. So it's time to slap back on the wheels, put this thing on the ground, and air it out for the first time. Woo! Ooh wait! Can definitely go a little bit lower up front. Definitely gotta raise the rears to get it sitting fender to lip. I think in total for this whole install, in working hours, I spent probably 8 to 10 hours installing this air system. So you definitely can do it at home within a few days if you have all the tools. I highly recommend you guys do it. And if you guys want a more in-depth video, check out this video. I posted it, I think almost 2 years ago, but I went super in-depth in that video. I showed you guys how to do everything from installing the bags to making a trunk setup. Everything that you guys might need to install the bags, I got it on that video in case I didn't cover in this video, so check it out. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm excited to get back to working on my car, this lovely FRS with the new wheels and turbo setup. So stay tuned for the videos. Go ahead and subscribe if you guys haven't yet to stay up to date with the videos. Until next time, peace out.